The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Today is Friday, December 30th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me. It is New Year's Eve's Eve. And I want to just speak briefly with you. I don't think I'm going to do a whole episode, but I wanted to leave the year off with why I'm hopeful. Much of this show, as I cover the day-to-day news cycle, it becomes extremely difficult to seem and feel hopeful because there's a lot going on. We have issues that we have to address and we have fights that we have to fight. And so it just becomes difficult, generally speaking, to have a tone of hopefulness. But I hope that throughout this show, and those of you who've been with me for the longest, I hope that you see there is hope. And here's some of the reasons I'm actually hopeful right now. And some of them are more meaningful than others. Some of them are tongue in cheek. But listen, the way that Andrew Tate imploded on himself, I don't know if you've caught wind of it. I don't know to what degree you're plugged into the Matrix, which is what he would call it. But Andrew Tate is the MMA multimillionaire influencer from Romania who decided to pick on Greta Thunberg. Didn't play out well for him. Well, ultimately, he got arrested yesterday. And he's been released since, and we already knew about the investigation. I alluded to it in the first episode that I talked about this, but we already knew about the investigation into human trafficking and rape that's happening. They've been looking for him for a while in Romania. But the point is this: these people aren't that bright. They're certainly not bright enough to overcome their own proclivities. They can't control their impulses. Elon Musk literally cannot control his impulses. On Twitter, he's a reply guy to Nazis. I mean, he really has just shown it's the thing that they don't realize is, like, you know, immediately it's the popularity that you get off of something new. It's fun. It's amazing, but it never lasts, Elon. Nobody was really going to be so interested in you that they would watch you reply interesting over 400 times. You know, popularity runs its course, especially when you come in on the side of wrong, when you come in on the side of injustice instead of standing on the side of justice. So I'm hopeful because these people are just not smart enough to actually conquer and rule the world. I'm sorry. They're not bright. Andrew Tate is not a smart man. I don't want to linger there too long because then I feel like I have to bring media. Every time I talk about someone, I want to play media of them, you know, so that you can hear their voice. But I don't want to give him any oxygen in terms of his own words. The difficult thing about him, and I have to say this as an aside, he is a massive influencer. Now, I'm laughing at him because he's a moron, but at the end of the day, he is demonstrating for the entire world the kind of ignorance that is currently being modeled for your teenagers or whoever is in your household that is in the back room consuming influencers in one fashion or another. And there's an entire manosphere for people to be influenced by the likes of Andrew Tate with the Bugattis, the 33 cars, you know, all the hot women. And so just be mindful of that. While I am hopeful today because I don't think that they have the intelligence between them to actually execute their plans. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some really smart people over there. The theocratic fascists, those are the ones you need to worry about because those are the ones who can control their impulses. You understand? They have their religious zealots. Game recognized game. So the religious zealots, those are the people that you really do have to worry about because They are meticulous in their planning, and they have the ability to overcome their impulses, unlike Elon Musk, unlike Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, Kanye West. The list goes on. Most of these characters in this current stage play that we are all living, I mean, we're all living through a production of how can we survive the spoiled, selfish sons of the empire. Whatever, it doesn't matter exactly what nation they're from. These are all rich and privileged men children who've never been told no, who never had any respect for anyone, especially not women. And now they seek to prove how tough they are. They're seeking to prove it on the LGBTQIA community. They target librarians. They target churchgoers. They target the most vulnerable, the grocery store shoppers. These monsters never run up in the place where we shoot back. But they have run into the right ones now, because solidarity with all of those groups who are currently providing protection for every single one of these communities that are under attack by a bunch of bullies and men children. These guys fancy themselves to be tough guys, and they're taking on 19-year-old Greta Thunberg for no reason at all. Just come out the blue to attack her, only to realize you don't go after a 19-year-old girl. You just don't do it. It doesn't end well, not because of woke anything, but because the wit and the humor. I can attest from my young daughter, the wit and the humor and the quickness and the swiftness of their sharp tongue will eviscerate any middle-aged man. Ask my daughter. So that was a mistake number one. It wasn't a good choice. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful because, well, we have time to fix the underlying problem. Because this current batch of fascists are not, particularly skillful enough to actually implement their plans, I'm hopeful because we have a minute to breathe. When I think of Donald Trump, and I think of the Elon Musk, who has all the money in the world and could literally, execute whatever he wanted to execute. There was nothing stopping him except himself. Thank goodness they are not efficient with their fascism. The next batch, we may not be so lucky, but that means we have time. And I am grateful to see not only that, I want to do a hard pivot. I want to give a shout out to every single gun club, every single loosely connected, affiliated. I mean, I don't care. I'm not even going to drop names, right? Those of you brothers, comrades, sisters, and non-gender conforming individuals who are out there literally providing protection at these drag shows, at the libraries, at the LGBTQIA nightclubs, because there had to be a response. There had to be. We honestly could not sit back and to see that there are people who took that they took it upon themselves to make sure that protection is provided. There's a video that's going viral now of the Proud Boys in New York getting chased off by organizers who came to defend the right for those people to exist and to congregate and to actually, it was just a drag show. That's it. That's where we are. A drag show is so offensive here in the year of our Lord 2022, going into, a few days will be in the new year. But of all the things that this country does to us, of all the cruelties that are visited upon people, the thing you want everyone to be terrified of is a drag show. And so I want to say I'm hopeful because there are organizations like the Elm Fork John Brown Gun Club and all the other branches of the John Brown Gun Clubs around the country. I have to give a shout out personally to the new Black Panthers. Though all of the different gun clubs that showed up in Gulfport, Mississippi, to provide protection, right? Those are two different groups that probably never merged together in terms of providing defense. But I honestly believe that Black people, white people, I don't care what your faith is, Jewish, Muslim, Christian. I don't care what your gender identification is. I don't care what your sexuality is. We need to understand that we have a common threat against us. And thankfully, right now, it's in the hands of buffoons, but the system is still so cruel. So many of us are still hurt by the current system that we have to confront every single level, and we have to do it together. And to see the people out all across the country showing up to the drag shows, showing up into the different clubs, nightclubs, and providing protection for our brothers and sisters and non-gender conforming individuals, friends, right? I don't have to be gay or trans. I don't have to be anything except for what I am and still stand up for them. And I am grateful. And I just really want to express my gratitude. You know who I love showing up to I'm looking at the front line, the digital front lines. I'm looking at the digital front lines of this battle that I know is going on. And some of the most triumphant champions fighting against fascism right now today are trans friends. Whether they be trans women or trans men, they are having to fight digitally and literally on the front lines against fascism because fascism is coming after them first. Right now. Notwithstanding, obviously, the constant state of terror the Black community is always under, and Black men, young boys being killed, we cover it every single day. They are both part of the same thing. And we need to draw the connection between the fascists on the police force and the fascists who stand in front of the police force wearing Proud Boy shirts. There's not a distinction. We just need to make sure that we understand that they're on the same side. And we have a common cause. And our common cause is humanity. And we have a chance. We can win because they're not sending their brightest. That's all I'm going to do today, folks. I'm going to get out of here. They're not sending the best. They're sending Donald Trump and Andrew Tate. Elon Musk is the apex of Western chauvinism, ladies and gentlemen. But for every moron Trump, there's a DeSantis that comes after him. And we want to be ready. We need to make sure that we not only hold the line against fascism, but that we push them back into the dregs of society. Happy New Year, everyone.